There is a difference between being intelligent and being smart. According to Google, the definition of intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Keyword apply. The definition of smart is programmed so as to be capable of some independent action or having or showing quick-witted intelligence. Now the question is, are universities looking for intelligent people or smart people? This question actually reveals a lot. Because guess what? Intelligence involves application of ideas, then one can apply themselves without the need of a third party, aka a university. Universities would go out of business if people suddenly tapped into their intelligence. However, they're not. Why? The amount of money that institutions are making off of people who are just smart is a lot. This is the perfect formula. Convince students to be smart enough to enroll in university and further feed them knowledge that makes them think like an employee, which further pushes them into the beautiful capitalist environment. This is not a bad thing. This means you will be safe. You do exactly what the system wants you to do, and you will always have food on the table and bills will always be paid working your 9 to 5. But what happens when you want more? You may have noticed a shift happening in consciousness. There are now more than ever before people wanting to venture off and build their own businesses and try things that have never really done before. And because in this day and age we have more technology at our fingertips, this is actually possible. So wait, if I just said that humans don't need a middle party, which is a university, then why do universities still exist? It's because of the beautiful piece of paper, this degree worth $70K minimum. This is the key to the job market. That is, if you are planning to go for the 9 to 5 route, which many people have to do, especially at the beginning of their careers. Personally speaking, this piece of paper has only ever gotten me to the interview stage. 4 to 6 years of work just to be able to get an interview. But that's the reality of the market. That's the differentiation factor, and that is why universities still exist. So we do have to play by the rules a little bit of society. Universities are not all bad. There are things you learn in this accelerated environment that you simply cannot learn or experience anywhere else. There are so many opportunities to meet entrepreneurs and develop these key relationships in your life and get inspired through going to student-held events on campus. Take advantage of these extracurriculars. They may seem just like an add-on to your normal schedule of going to class, but there actually is more benefit of these extracurriculars than your actual mandatory classes. Experience teaches you more than intellect. I personally learned a lot of discipline in university. Development of my masculine energy was at its peak during university for me. This is why I am where I am today and recording this video right now. If it wasn't for that cutthroat, high intensity, high accelerated war zone, I'm not being over dramatic by saying this, by the way, then I wouldn't have learned these skills. I want to let you in on a little something. All the knowledge you learn in your classes, you relearn at your job. I know you think you need to memorize and remember everything from your first year classes all the way to your fourth, which just adds on to student stress. But not only is this untrue, it's also very impractical. I mean, we're just humans, we're not robots. However, the development of your personality and the exposure you get to being in a different sort of environment, aka university, is what you learn as a byproduct of going to university. I have 2 pieces of very expensive paper. I have a degree and I also have a master's. The last 6 years have taught me quite a bit of obviously accounting knowledge, but also a lot of things that are a byproduct that most people don't seem to reflect on. For example, waking up early in the mornings, going to the gym, getting into a routine, learning what routine works best for me, learning what type of learning styles work for me. I know that we think that high school teaches us all these things, but we're kind of spoon-fed in high school. University is very hands-off and you have more exposure to just being alone and you have much more freedom. That's when you actually learn what works for you. Do you work better in the mornings or are you a night owl? However, I also believe that university is going to change in the future. There's a lot of online courses that people are willing to take to get their certification, and companies are now actually starting to look at the person as opposed to the degree and the credentials that they have on piece of paper. Because let's face it, there's a lot of people in this world that have really good credentials on paper, but can't really do shit in real life. Now let's change gears just a little bit and talk about stress and burnout and anxiety, because no one talks about these things. It's real, and I don't think it's worth it. Hear me out. I know that there's a lot of things to think about when you're thinking about whether or not I should go to college, or should I just go to my community college? Should I just go to university? Should I take some time off? At the end of the day, we have this thing called intuition, and it's there for a reason. So whether you're someone who's watching this video and you've already gotten your degree, or if you're just someone who's thinking about going back to school, or if you're in school right now, follow your intuition. Each of us have a capacity, and we know when we overdo our capacity. Early signs of overdoing your capacity are things like burnout. The differentiation between burnout and depression is that burnout, still you can recover from it. It's not natural to be burnt out. It's not natural to stress out over a piece of paper that's getting graded. I think everyone needs to, especially the youth, needs to take a step back and holistically look at the reason everyone is going to university and getting their degrees and their certificates is so that we can get money, right? We can get a good job for our life so that we can have the funds to do things. However, I urge you guys to start thinking outside the box, because university is not the only avenue that you need to do this in. I am not saying that university is bad, but I am saying that the day and age that we live in, there are so many options. Also, there's nothing wrong with taking a gap year to decide what you want to do. I mentioned this earlier in the video. I said experience over intellect. What I meant by this is you learn much more by experiencing things firsthand, which is done through talking to other people, perhaps job shadowing, perhaps trying different jobs before even entering the university, as opposed to just learning about it in the classroom, because anyone can sit there and memorize. That's the difference between being smart and intelligent. When you physically experience things, you're using intelligence. You are now applying the skills that you have acquired, as opposed to just sitting in a classroom, giving your money away to an institution that honestly doesn't care about your well-being. You got to keep that in mind. You should know that these institutions are businesses. They are trying to make money from you, but then they start to say things like, we care about our students and all this stuff. Yeah, they care about the students as long as students be paying the money. No hate to a university. You guys are a business. At the end of the day, the definition of a business is to make a profit. It is not to take care of the people included in the business. It is literally to make money. That I went to business school, so I know this, okay? Take a step back and look at the whole picture. Another thing, nothing's that serious. If no one else in your life is telling you this, I'm telling you this right now. Nothing is that serious. You don't need to look at university as a life or death situation. You don't need to think you pick something and you're stuck with it the rest of your life. Let's just say you went for something and you don't like it, change it. Who cares? This human experience is your experience to do what you want to do in it. And I know that there's also so many distractions, there's so many pressures, there's so much stress from either family, cultures, society. But at the end of the day, if you have a strong mind, if you have a holistic mind, you can slow things down and make the best decision for you. So this is something I didn't do when I was in university, hence why I developed severe depression. I got burnt out and I had to start my healing journey. And if I could help you guys and just literally plant the seed of self-care while being a student early on in your lives, it will pan out, and every situation in life that causes stress, you will be able to deal with it much better because you have this holistic thinking cap on your head. And that is the point of this video. It's to show you the pros and the cons of university. I am not a gatekeeper, so I just put it all out there. I hope this video helped you guys, and good luck. Again, don't take life so seriously. It'll all work out. Much love to you all. See you guys next video.